Bernie Sanders decries anti-Muslim violence in mosque visit and downtown LA rally. March 24 Senior. Bernie Sanders of Your. The senator echoed that theme later in the day, telling an estimated 12,000 people at a downtown Los Angeles rally he was shocked as Sanders' morning stop at the mosque came as he traveled the state to build support for his campaign, nearly a year in advance of California's March 2020 primary. It also coincided with his effort to diversify his team of top advisors following allegations that his 2016 campaign was dominated by white men and tolerated sexual harassment and discrimination. Muslim community leaders in California invited Sanders to speak at the Islamic Center to pay tribute to the 50 people killed March 15 at two mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, by a gunman identified as a white supremacist. Sanders, 77, who acknowledges he does not like to talk about himself, shared memories of crying when he was a boy as he read about the Holocaust. He mentioned the killing of Native Americans by European settlers in early America, the enslavement of African Americans, prejudice against Asians, Irish, and Italians, and the genocides of the 20th century, saying there was reason to hope the world would now understand that. Sanders bemoaned hate crimes, the rise of authoritarianism and demagogues picking on minorities. Now, the invited audience greeted Sanders with frequent applause. High school teacher Karima Razi, 54, a Sanders backer from Laguna Niguel, said she appreciated that his message at the mosque went beyond his usual economic agenda. Sanders followed the visit with a rally in Los Angeles, the second of three large events he planned in California this weekend. His final event, a Los Angeles Fire Department official estimated the downtown rally crowd Saturday at about 12,000. Sanders drew on his biography to underscore his call for an economic revolution, noting that he grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck. Supporters gathered in the grassy Grand Park outside of City Hall, watching opening acts of folk rock and hip-hop performers. Many said they were. Jane Jeffries, 66, said she's been a fan since the 1970s, citing his civil rights work. The retiree from it. Others said they were intrigued by Sanders' Democratic rivals, especially Elizabeth Warren, the Massachusetts senator who has been a stalwart antagonist of Wall Street. That's see 2019 The Los Angeles Times. Visit the Los Angeles Times at www.lateams.com. Distributed by Tribune Content Agency, LLC.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.